Welcome back, friends. Today's video was sponsored by Simply Safe. So Tuesday morning, we woke up to a beautiful inch of snow on the ground. Complete surprise. I knew it was coming, but I wasn't expecting it to come this morning. So that always gets me kind of in the mood to get things ready. So Brian brought the tractor into the shop. We're going to get everything all chained up, get the snow plow and everything ready. I'll take you down to the pump house. We'll get the kerosene thing going. We got a whole bunch of stuff to do to get ready for Thanksgiving. We're going to be hosting this year. We got family and friends coming over. And well, I invite you to come along and hang out as we get ready for winter. It's our favorite job of the year. How's it going, Brian?
I'm glad I only have to do this once a year.
Let me jump in here and give you a hand. Brian's gonna work on the front. I'll get the back chains going. When you're doing your chains, be sure you lay them all out before you throw them on there. Get this twist out, and remember that the way that these are folded over on, these are the crossbars here. Those need to be not, those sharp edges, they're not against the tire. So just get them all, they'll get really tangled when you store them and move them around a few times. If you get it twisted them, you can break them. Here's a perfect example. This is they'll typically get twisted on those ends. And make sure your cams, these are your tightening cams here, make sure those are on the outside, or they're real hard to get to if you do them on the inside. Would it help to have an extra hand in there, or would I just be in the way?
Here, I'll hold up on this one.
Okay.
And then we can get that hooked into the middle. Ready. A little more. Of course, this thing's turning on us.
Oh, you okay? Yep. One thing that'll help you with putting your truck chains on, I learned this from my friend Tony, they do this at the fire department, is he just made this little block deal. I just cut it, it's just crude out of a chainsaw. But what it gives you the ability to do is to put your crossbars in here. We've got two of these, lay it up ahead and just kind of pick some place where you can get your chain. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Ready for the nasty? What was that? It was a movie. Amelia Estevez and Charlie Sheen, they were garbage men. Oh. You remember that movie?
I don't think I ever saw that one, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so every day, at the end of the day, they had to sweep out the garbage truck. And they would say, oh, it's time to do the nasty. And the whole time they're out there sweeping, saying, nasty, nasty. You know, actually that block doesn't seem to work very good with this sort of chain, the way that we have the double,
right, the way they're linked together.
The double things. It works better on truck tires. Maybe that pry bar would be handy. Let's see if we can get this hooked up here. Okay, we got that. Now the battle. For the battle here. Good. Look at that. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah, forget everything I said about that wood block. Let's just throw that in the burn pile. Either I'm using it wrong or it's just not suitable for these chains. All right, we'll put the spiders on. I think we're set.
We got the backside already?
That's it?
That's great.
Boy, the snow's really coming down now, guys. It's about 31 degrees and stacking up. Are you ready for the snow at your place, Brian?
Yeah, ready as I'm going to be.
Yeah? You got your firewood all cut?
Oh, I got so much more firewood than I'm going to need. It's a great feeling.
You need more than that, huh?
Yeah, more than that. It's going to be tough, huh?
I need I will break the...
Okay, it's on. Okay, it's on. This whole thing looks decidedly
A little crooked?
a little crooked. Yeah, look at the spring tension on this one versus the other ones.
It always kind of does that, and then you drive it around and it kind of sorts itself out.
Okay, great.
I think we're better off just throwing the chain on the top of the tire
And rolling it around.
and then driving it forward a little bit and bringing the links together. We're good. Yeah, that was super simple. You ever watch Little House on the Prairie when you were younger?
You know, I feel like I probably did, but I don't.
You don't recall it? Reminded me of me putting all that pressure on that pry bar with your fingers in between that chain. It reminded me of an episode. So Jonathan, of course, the character is unable to, they can't make a living or something. There was a drought or whatever, so the men have to take off to go find work. So him and his best friend go off to a rock quarry. They don't know anything about doing quarry work, and at the time those guys would work as a team. And what they would do is they had like a railroad hammer, which came down to a really fine point, and then they had a cutting drill, and with a little kind of a star on the end of it. And how they would do it is they would auger holes for the dynamite. So you worked as a team, and you had to trust each other implicitly because your hands were right there. And this guy was full swinging, kunk, all day long, kunk, and you would turn that thing, turn it, and auger that hole. Well, they'd never worked together before, and they need to work so bad, and they go to the foreman, and he asks them, "You guys know how to do this, right? You're quarrymen?" "Oh, yeah, we know how to do this." And just the sweat when the two of them, the first time, is holding that thing, and I think Jonathan was on the hammer, and he comes up there, and the guy's watching him, because that's how he's going to test him to see, do you know what you're doing? If you can do this, you'll get hired. And they have to have this job, and they've never done it before. And I'll never forget the tension between these two guys, and he's just closing his eyes, just comes out there, crack, right on there, and they go to work, so you start doing it. It was one of the best episodes.
Well, I think it's neat how you can create so much tension with just a simple premise like that.
Oh, and if you're a working guy, if you worked with your hands, you get that. I think a lot of guys, maybe they wouldn't understand it, but that's the trust right there to be able to do that. Allow me to take a quick moment to tell you about our sponsor, SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe is an incredibly reliable, easy to use, intuitive security system that will keep your family safe. We've really been enjoying the SimpliSafe system. It's actually kind of been growing with us, as we change things or we want to add a camera or a particular sensor somewhere. It's super modular. It's not expensive. You can get 24-hour coverage that they'll call the fire department, medical, a police department if you have a need. 24-hour monitoring is relatively affordable. I think it came down, we're paying about 50 cents a day. Our favorite SimpliSafe accessory, without a doubt, is the automatic door locks. This is installed on the entry door right here, and we use it all the time. What we find is at nighttime when we want to go to bed, we just hit the home, that arms the whole system, locks all the doors. So you can put these on all your perimeter doors and they automatically lock. This has been the handiest thing because we no longer have to worry about the keys. Jack never has his keys and he's got his arm full of stuff and he's usually here waiting, shouting at us for the key. He can just simply enter in the code and the door automatically unlocks itself. I really like those automatic door locks. It's nice to know you can push a button and the whole house is all locked up. And if you've got a door that's ajar or didn't get latched or one of the kids didn't push it shut, it gives you a warning, hey, your door's not shut, and you can go over there and you can know without running around there checking everything. It's a real time saver. So also you can program custom codes in there if you want to have access given to like dog walkers or contractors or who knows, family members or whatever, so you can see on the record who comes and goes. Right now SimpliSafe is having their biggest price discount ever. Click this link up here, go on over there. This ends Cyber Monday, so don't waste any time, and you can put together a system that works for your family. This is something that we pay a monthly fee, just like you do. We continue to use it. We really like it. Our friends have come over and asked about it, and they've ordered them. It's just a very good system. It's very simple. It's very affordable. It's something you can install yourself. It's very intuitive. The hardware, the way the hardware links up with the control pad, is seamless, it's easy, it's well designed, it's just a delight to use. I really enjoy it. I would put it on my next house 100%. So we finally got my kerosene in. Boy, kerosene's hard to find and expensive. So this is grade A #1 kerosene or lamp oil. this is what you want to burn in all of your like your Dietz lamps and stuff. If that's what you've decided to go with, you know, to deal with an off-grid light source, you can. It used to be back in the day. My neighbor Henry told me that kerosene was so much cheaper than diesel or gas that he converted an old car that he had to run off of kerosene. So he like started on gas and then flip it over. Industrious, you know, do something like that because he could go further with the kerosene. So we're going to put these in the blue Wavian cans. You know, traditionally your kerosene is going to be the blue color. It's just kind of a standard. I don't know if that's an international standard or if that's just something we do here in the U.S. Now, why take them out of the cans that they're in and put them in the Wavian cans? Mainly for the spout and the durability of it. These things they're tough to pour out of these things. They glug and make a mess. So I like the spouts on the Wavians. The best place to find your kerosene is there's not many of them around, but usually if you look around, there'll be a few independent gas and oil guys around. Call guys that do like heating oil for homes, and they'll typically stock this, or they can order it for you at a whole lot cheaper than you're going to buy it from, like in small quantities from like a big, you know, grocery or a hardware store. That filled it right up to the top. I actually had a little bit left over in a can, so these are a little bit more than 5 gallons, but that's just perfect. Look at 5.3 gallons, I think. Okay. Oh, that's very nice. This is exactly why the Spyderco, I quit carrying the Benchmade over the Spyderco, is that you can open it with gloves because of that great big hole in there. This is the best knife ever. If you're a woman and you're watching this and you're wondering what to get for your man, get them a Spyderco Paramilitary 3, and they will be very happy. This is the best EDC knife I've ever used. I get asked about these gloves all the time. These are the go-to gloves for all the guys that work in logging in the wintertime. The original ones, I think the original ones are made by White Ox. So if you search White Ox, you can get them. The best ones have the red, kind of an elastic across the back of them. These are just, I think, a local company making them. But they're basically the same thing, but that heavy cotton. They are in cold weather for running equipment and just doing tire chains, you know, all those things when it's cold and dry and not super wet. These are the warmest, best gloves, and they're cheap. Let's go down to the well pump. We have a shallow well pump for our water, and it's one of the most vulnerable things on the homestead is that it will freeze. So if we lose power, like we lost power for 8 days the first winter we were here, and the well head froze up. We didn't have any water, so we come up with a way to keep that from happening when we run out of power. And we'll take you down and show you that now. We've got the snowplow buried in the equipment shed there, so Brian's got to move a bunch of stuff around to get that. I don't think we'll put it on today, but we'll get it into the main barn so that when we need it, we can hook up to it real quick. Well, we are officially stuck here. It's really starting to stack up here, guys. We might actually get some real snow for Thanksgiving. What a nice thing that would be. I haven't been in here for a year. I'm always a little apprehensive what I'm going to find, what critter I'm going to find living in here. Hopefully none. Oh, the mice have been in here. They got at the insulation. Look at them, how the mice have been in here. I'll tell you guys, mice are a plague on humanity. What type of, it takes a hateful creature that it can actually dig in and make a nest out of fiberglass insulation and live in it. Can you imagine? Anyway, what happens is that this is the wellhead right here, and this portion right here has froze in the past. So what I've done is we just put together this little very long burning kerosene lamp made out of a paint thinner can. Well, let's take it up to the shop and get it filled up and ready, and I'll show you how it works. So this is our homemade well house heater. It's made out of a lacquer thinner can here. I know a lot of you longtime subscribers have seen this. It seems like we roll it around every year here, don't we? But what we have here, if you're wondering, so this is just a this is like an old school kerosene lantern. That's the globe right there, and I've just taken some high temperature metal tape there, and then I duct this using this small dryer hose. I duct that up there so the heat that comes off the flame keeps that standpipe from freezing. So we just took you can see there, just took and just silver soldered the base of that lantern on there, and it's got the wick thing for trimming the wick and everything. So if I take this off, let's see if I can show you how this works here. This just threads on, so if you need to replace it, you can just put another one on there from a lantern. That's the wick right there. It's just a piece of cotton, and that lays down there in the bottom, and this is what the kerosene's for. It just lays down there in the bottom, and it wicks it up. And the reason for this over the lantern is the lantern doesn't last very long. It doesn't have a lot of volume. So by doing this, you can this will run for a couple days. So these wicks have just what they call a trim on it. It's just a little dial there, and that just moves that cotton up and down. It controls how much flame you want. If you take it down, the flame will be smaller, and I'll usually run it all the way down so it burns as long as possible. Now that globe will fit on there like that, and then I'll just duct this and direct it kind of right up to the top. It's basically like a little chimney, and there's a lot of heat that comes out of it, just enough to keep that pipe from freezing. I've never had a problem with it, and you don't have to go down there but every couple days, because this will just burn. I don't know how long it'll burn. It maybe burn many days. It just seems to go and go. I'll push and you pull.
Break
The seal?
the seal, yeah.
Yeah. I just push it right on the top there. They won't get your gloves dirty.
Oh, I see. Yeah. All right, ready?
Yep. Keep the dust down. Maybe just throw that front bucket back on, probably be the most versatile. Yeah. And then come back and we'll just grease this up and get it ready to go.
Jack.